do as much as you can to get to know as much as you possibly can about the person that you're going to marry before you get married. Well, thank you for joining us today. I hope that you enjoy your time with us. We're going to be talking about marriage and relationships, and basically the marriage relationship. And you know, some of you may not be married, but to be honest, even if you're not married, sometimes the best time to get teaching on marriage is before you get married. Because a lot of times people don't think about that, and then they have all these problems maybe could have been avoided if they would have done a little more studying before they got into the relationship. And so I guess I'd like to just open with this statement. Relationships can be very challenging. Can anybody say amen? And especially the marriage relationship can be challenging because you're with that person all the time. And going to lunch with a friend is quite different than being married to somebody for 50 years. And Dave and I have been married 50 years. And I can say that during that period of time, God has changed me a lot. And it's probably a good thing, because if I wouldn't have let him do that, I probably wouldn't still be married today. And so I want to start out by talking to you about what are your expectations when you get married. If you're not married yet, what is it that you're expecting? Or if you are married, what do you expect from the person that you're married to? I think one of the things in our lives that gives us a lot of problems is just having unrealistic expectations. You know, when you're expecting somebody to give you something they don't know how to give you, or to maybe understand something about you that they could not possibly understand, especially if you're expecting somebody to make you happy all the time. And I do think a lot of people, when they get married with the idea that now you're going to make me happy all the time. And first of all, you know, some of the things that you feel when you're dating somebody is totally different than the way you feel, you know, after you've been married for a while. And so there's a lot of excitement and goosebumps and all those things. You know, it's almost like, you know, the chase is different than when you actually get what you want. For example, I didn't know when I married Dave that he played golf. I didn't even know that. And of course, you've heard all my golf stories, my funny stories. I mean, I didn't know that he was as crazy about sports as he is. You know, that those were not, he wasn't focusing on that at that time. He was focusing on me. I was like the most important thing in his life. However, we'd been married about a week when he told me that he was going to go out and hit shag balls, which that happens to be what guys that are serious about golf do to practice. Well, his whole family was coming over to see our new little apartment, and because of the way I was raised, I wasn't really comfortable with the whole family situation anyway. And so I couldn't believe that he was going to go out and hit shag balls and leave me there to do all this work by myself. Thus, we had our first argument over golf. And it certainly was not the last, but it was the first. And I just think it's interesting, as much as he loves all kinds of sports, and especially golf, that we got married and I didn't even know that he played golf. So just trust me when I say you are going to find out some things after you're married that you did not know before you got married. And that doesn't mean they're all bad. You'll find out a lot of good things too. But do as much as you can to get to know as much as you possibly can about the person that you're going to marry before you get married. So what are you expecting from your relationships? This works also with friendship, but we're going to talk mainly about marriage today. What are you expecting? Are you expecting this other person to keep you happy all the time? Well, you know, it was a great day for me, and I'm sure for Dave, when God spoke to my heart and instructed me that I was to stop giving Dave the responsibility of keeping me happy. He said, your joy is your own responsibility. It's not somebody else's responsibility. And I do think in relationships that we really think this other person is supposed to keep us happy all the time. They're supposed to make us feel good about ourselves all the time. But to be honest, if you don't already have a sense of confidence if you don't already feel good about yourself, then there's no human being in your life that is ever going to be successful at making you feel good about yourself all the time. And I can tell you, it wears people out. Being married to somebody that is extremely insecure can just absolutely wear people out. Because if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't have a sense of God's love and who you are in Him, and if you don't know how to be an individual, then you're constantly looking for somebody else to make you feel good, to make you feel successful, to make you feel confident, to make you feel secure. And it's like you're expecting something that they're not going to give you, because, to be honest, no matter who you marry, now I know this is going to be shocking, but I have to say this, they are not going to be focused on you all the time. Isn't that surprising? They don't have you on their mind all the time. They're not going to be focused on you all the time. But when a person really lacks confidence, like, for example, if a woman is insecure and she makes a new meal, if the man, the kids, whatever, don't rave about how good it is, she's going to automatically assume that it's not good and they didn't like it. You know, where a person who has confidence may taste it and say, this is really great, and they don't necessarily have to have somebody else confirming to them all the time that everything they do is good. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't compliment each other, but if you have to have that, then it's kind of equivalent to a drug addict needing a fix. It's like you constantly expect somebody else to fix you, to keep you fixed all the time, and it just wears them absolutely out.